Cozy games rock lately. I recently watched a video by Koromora entitled Why Do Cozy Games Suck? Now, I normally wouldn't click on a video like this because I feel like it's a little bit clickbaity, and yeah, I personally love cozy games, so why would I watch a video entitled Why Do Cozy Games Suck? However, over time, it kept getting recommended to me again and again, so I eventually caved and decided to watch it. I was really surprised to see this video because actually, honestly, I have the complete opposite opinion as Koromora. While I agree that a lot of cozy games could use improvement, I actually have the opposite opinion of cozy games. I think that we are entering into a golden age of cozy games. I think that we have come a long way and that we are still going in the right direction. Most people agree that Harvest Moon on the Super Nintendo was the start of the cozy game genre. However, I think a lot of people look back at this game with some rose-tinted glasses. Don't get me wrong, I love Harvest Moon, the series, and I also kind of like the Super Nintendo title, but if you don't agree with me that Harvest Moon on Super Nintendo is a bad game, I recommend you to go to the Nintendo Switch Online service and try it out right now. I think that for its time, it was really revolutionary and it did a lot of things well, but it's really rough playing this game in 2023. You don't have an inventory, you just pick up an item and then you have to run around with that item in your hand. Number 2, you have a tool shed that you constantly have to go into to switch tools. Number 3, you can't plant crops in winter or autumn. And this game has an abrupt ending, so you can't just play this game forever. So for the start of the cozy game genre, it wasn't exactly an excellent start, if you ask me. This first game, it did okay. It managed to sell over 100,000 copies, which isn't bad when you consider the fact that it's a small third-party developer, and the fact that the N64 had already been released, and the fact that at that time, there was definitely not a built-in fan base of cozy gamers. A few years later, Animal Crossing was released, first on the N64 in Japan, and then later it was ported to the GameCube, where it was released in America as well. Since it was made by Nintendo, you might think that Animal Crossing, just right out the gate, it did really well, but it actually only sold 2.3 million copies, which for a Nintendo first-party game is not really that much. Me personally, I loved the GameCube version of Animal Crossing, however, it was a bit rough, especially compared to Animal Crossing New Horizons. At this time, outside of Animal Crossing and Harvest Moon, it was kind of hard to find other cozy games. After the GameCube version of Animal Crossing came out, I still wouldn't say that cozy games were very common. In fact, I would say that they were still rather uncommon. That is, all the way up until 2016, when a little game called Stardust Valley was released. Now, after Stardust Valley was released, this game really pushed cozy games to the forefront. This game, it was made by an indie developer, and it was actually made by only one person, and it ended up selling over 20 million copies. Now, after Stardust Valley was released, this is when we got a flood of cozy games. And much like Koromora said, not all of these cozy games were all that good. But in my opinion, this is actually just like growing pains. Everyone saw the success of Stardust Valley, and they definitely wanted to capitalize on that. So after Stardust Valley was released, now is when we really got to see cozy game after cozy game. Every year, there's a dozen or even more cozy games that are all coming out. However, I think as is the case in any genre, after a game does really well and it makes a lot of money, of course there's going to be a bunch of copycats who also want to make some of that money, and so they just rush out a really bad game. So I do admit that not every cozy game in the past 5 years has been excellent, but I really do think that we are moving in the right direction, and the fact that we get bad cozy games is actually a good thing. I would much rather get cozy games that try to do new things and then maybe don't quite succeed at it, and then they can slowly refine the aspects that they didn't get right the first time and make it better the second time. Right now, we have cozy games that excel at different areas, and I absolutely love it. We now have a farming sim that took the basic ideas of the original Harvest Moon and updated them with modern game mechanics. That game is, of course, Stardust Valley. We have an amazing farming sim that has this huge open world that lets us tame animals in the wild. That game is Harvest Moon: The Winds of Anthos. We have an amazing farming sim that has action JRPG elements. That game is Harvestella. We have an amazing farming game that lets us not only be a new farmer, but also a witch as well. That game is Wildflowers. So, to get back to the question at hand, do cozy games suck? Heck no. We're in a golden era of cozy games and farming sims. And right now, my only problem is that I don't have enough time to play all the new games that I'd like to. In 2023, there have been so many amazing cozy games that came out. I cannot believe someone is making a video now talking about how cozy games suck. So, do you agree with me in that we're in a golden age of cozy games and that we keep getting better year after year? Or do you agree with Koromora that there's too many issues with the cozy game genre and they suck? Please let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit that like button, and I'll see you guys next time.